Just a few more. All right. All right. There we go. All right. All right. Here we go. Now, I know with my audience, I can connect with you. Dana, I'm sorry, brother. There you are, brother. There you go. There you go. All right. All right. So you got to connect with your audience, folks. Very important. It's very important that you do that. So when you're having that, listen, when you're having this time of communication, man, they need to know that you're talking to them, that you identify with them. Very, very important piece. Okay, here's the next thing. Another way is tell stories. Love to tell stories. And I'm a storyteller. I mean, I'm telling you, on my way here, I was running a little bit behind. I have learned some wisdom, especially from our great speakers that have spoken to you, and I hope you've gained some wisdom from it. One of the things that I'd like to depart from you or impart with you about wisdom is never, if you're speaking in a particular city and your mother happens to live in that city, visit her after you speak, not before. My mom had me doing this. You need to go this. Honey, would you do this? I gotta go. I gotta speak. Just do it afterwards. I promise you. That's the piece of wisdom I could impart to you. Listen, always be aware of your target audience. Know the energy in the room as well. Be willing to poke fun at yourself. Listen, nobody's funnier than I am. I'm the biggest funny story there is. I always got something really silly that I've done, and I don't mind imparting that to you, really sharing that information. And then work on your nonverbal skills. People are looking at you, okay? People are constantly looking at you. I kind of speak with my hands, kind of move around, try to make some good eye contact. That's a very important piece when you're getting ready to speak, all right? Now, here's another thing. Paint a great picture. And we've got right here in the midst of this storytelling is we got a video, I believe. Do we have a video right here, Jarrad? 2 more clicks? All right, let's get to this as we paint a picture, as we paint the repetition. All right, here we go. Uh-oh, did I miss it? Right there? Got it? It is a dark picture. Here we go.
In 2009, a man, a journalist, by the name Rob Walker, wanted to find out is storytelling really the most powerful tool of all? And in order to do this, he went on his computer and he bought 200 objects from eBay. And the average price of the objects were about $1. He then called 200 authors and he asked them, hey, would you like to be part of the significant object study? Which means that I would like to write a story to one of the objects. And 200 authors said yes. So there he had 200 objects, he had 200 stories, and I assume that it was with nail-biting anticipation that he went on eBay again with all the 200 objects. Would there be a difference? Would there be a change? Do you think there was a change? One of the objects was this beautiful horse's head. There we go. The beautiful horse's head. Now this beautiful horse's head was bought for 99 cents and was sold when a story was added for $62.95. That is a slight increase of 6,395%. So was this a one-off situation? Not really, because he bought the 200 objects for a total of $129, selling them for $8,000. Now that's insane. But you know what's even more intellectually challenging to understand is how can you and I go to the movies and pay good money to watch movies like James Bond, who are absolutely unrealistic. And we sit there, we enjoy the movie, and some of us, we really enjoy the movie. And we leave the theater going like, God, what a man. I would like to be more like him. I'd like to walk like him. I'd like to talk like him. I like Bond. wonder how I could be more like Bond. And then this weird revelation hits you, like from nowhere, and you come up with a brilliant idea to walk to a watchmaker's shop. And wow, it just happens to be an Omega watch in that shop that resembles the one that Bond was wearing in the movie. And you pay $10,000 to put that watch on your wrist, and you leave that store feeling more like Bond. How is that possible? PQ Media tells us that $10.5 billion is turned over in product placement revenue every single year. How is it possible for you to be so easily tricked by something so simple as a story? Because you are tricked. Well, it all comes down to one core thing, and that is emotional investment. The more emotionally invested you are in anything in your life, the less critical and the less objectively observant you become.
Guys, I want to tell you something. This is a question I'd like to ask you, first of all. How many of you, when you walk into a store, when you're about to make a purchase, how many of you buy from your head before you buy from your heart? How many of you buy from your head before you buy from your heart? See, now there are a few of us, because a few of you are analytical. But I tell you what, if I really ask you to stand up for those who raised your hands, would you do me the honor? Would you stand up? Would you stand up? Don't be shy. Just stand up. Okay, now, okay. All right. Now, do you see how many people stood up? How many people are remaining down? Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. See, my point is that the majority of us buy from our heart before we buy from our head. Which means then you got to connect emotionally with people. You've got to connect emotionally with people. That helps in authenticity. That paints an incredible picture. When you want to paint the picture of financial freedom, then you got to tell them, and again, I keep coming back to this because it's so imperative. It's important. If you don't get connected with your why, you can't paint the picture. How many of you have vision boards? See, that helps in painting the picture. That helps in painting the picture. See, when you talk about the things that are most important to you, when you talk about those things that you emotionally connect with, then there's someone who's going to connect with that emotion. It's imperative when it comes to being a good speaker. Repetition. Repetition is important. You've got to drive the point home, and it's okay to say it a couple of times, to say it 2 or 3 times, because you want the person that you're with to clearly understand where you're going. Repetition is very, very important. It ensures that your audience clearly understands what you're saying, the main points from it. But here's the most important thing. After communication, I believe, after all of these particular points, is practice. Practice. Practice is imperative. You just practice. You don't just practice, but you practice to practice. You practice to practice. That's right. See, Sam Snead says, practice puts brains in your muscles. Mahatma Gandhi says, an ounce of practice is worth more than tons of preaching. Jim Rohn says, take advantage of every opportunity to practice your communication skills so that when important occasions arise, you will have the gift, the style, the sharpness, the clarity, and the emotions to affect other people. I love that statement. Because, guys, there will be moments that are inopportune. That all of a sudden in the grocery store, you just happen to see somebody that has the glow. And somehow you connect with them and you want to tell them about this business. You weren't really prepared. You don't have the slides. You don't have everything with it. But you have a connection and you want to be able to communicate. Listen, if you practice over and over and over again, you'll develop a gift. You'll develop the style. You'll develop the sharpness. You'll develop the clarity and the emotions that will affect other people. If you really want to expand your business, ladies and gentlemen, you got to be a good speaker. Now, I understand some of you will never be up here. That's okay. But you all have your stages. How are you operating on the stage that you do have? Okay, now, it's something, I got to state this one because this last one, he makes it very clear, and Vince Lombardi says, practice does not make perfect, only perfect practice makes perfect. But just keep practicing. I remember Allen Iverson when he was talking about practice. Practice, yeah, practice. You've got to keep practicing. It's a very, very important piece, folks. So have you ever heard someone who said they want to be an